Hi, this is Jason with Violator Comics Collectibles coming at you with another comic review. This time we're taking a look at Civil War Volume 1, Issue Number 2, published in August of 2006 from Marvel Comics. And this is the second issue in the 7-series Civil War. So the first thing we're going to do is take a closer look at the cover, and then we'll do a little synopsis of the issue. Alright, so the issue opens up with the Vulture and Grim Reaper basically beaten and chained to a pillar. S.H.I.E.L.D. agents arrive on scene and they also find the Trapster chained to a sink inside a men's bathroom. And they let Commander Hill know, and she basically states that this makes 15 supervillains inside a 72-hour period that have been captured in that same way. So Commander Hill knows that Captain America, there's no way he could have done this by himself in a short time period, and he must have other people with him, and he's not on his own anymore. So the comic cuts to New York City, where Yellow Jacket, Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, She-Hulk, Mrs. Marvel, Tigra, and Doc Samson have just defeated like a big Doombot. The crowd is really excited and they cheer for them, and Iron Man says that that's the sound of the people starting to believe in the superheroes again. She-Hulk wonders if they're just now S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and they're not even superheroes anymore, and Iron Man says they still are superheroes. And the only thing that's really changed now is that all the amateurs and sociopaths are getting weeded out. And Iron Man basically says that Captain America is just simply wrong this time. So they cut back to the Baxter Building, and Tony Stark and Reed Richards are really excited for the plans they have for the superhero community. Sue is not happy at all, because they're basically planning on jailing many of their old friends. Reed is excited about it. He knows it's unfortunate, but it's the only option they have, and that if these superheroes don't go unchecked, that basically, they're all going to have to suffer. Reed Richards also excited that, Tony has some secret plans that, he's been making with Hank Pym, and Sue asks about a special CD she saw marked number 42, and Reed says it's basically classified information. It shows the Daily Bugle, and J. Jonah Jameson, he's excited about the new Superhero Registration Act, and in Tony's penthouse, Tony is praying that he's making the right choice, and at midnight in Times Square, there's an announcement that the Superhero Registration Act has become law. The next day, there's S.H.I.E.L.D. agents chasing after Patriot from the Young Avengers. There's helicopters, and they, chasing after him. They trap him in a building. They launch gas bombs, and they take him into custody. The rest of the Young Avengers have already been captured and taken into S.H.I.E.L.D. prison vans. And Daredevil and Luke Cage are watching from a hidden location. And Luke Cage says that Captain America and Falcon are already undercover on the scene. So the prison van departs from the scene, and the passenger in the van, the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, is talking to the driver, and he's saying that these kids are freaks and how they get off on wearing a mask. And he also brings up if the driver's heard of the number 42 thing that they're constructing. The driver turns to the passenger and says, "You talk too much." Turns out it's Captain America as an undercover agent. He punches a guy in the face. He goes flying out the door into the interstate. Falcon's in the back of the van, frees the Young Avengers. The helicopters follow in the prison van, radios for backup, but Wiccan manages to teleport the entire van to a bunker, and the Young Avengers exit the vehicle and are greeted by Cable, Daredevil, Luke Cage, Goliath, and Hercules. Captain America explains to the new Avengers that they're in a S.H.I.E.L.D. safe house number 23, and he says there are 28 of these safe houses, across the globe, that Nick Fury and him are the only ones that know of the secret locations. He also says that they're working on new secret ID badges, and then all of a sudden somebody yells to Captain America to come take a look at Tony Stark's press conference that's on TV, and then the X-Men are watching it, and Sue Richards is watching the conference from the hospital where she's visiting Johnny, who got beat up in issue number 1. And this leads to the most important part in this comic, where Tony Stark introduces Mrs. Sharp, who was one of the parents that lost one of her kids in the explosion in issue number 1, and Spider-Man to a crowd of people. Spider-Man says that it's time for superheroes to go legitimate and earn back a little public trust, and that Captain America advocates people with powers being completely unchecked. J. Jonah Jameson is watching his television, and he's really stunned when Spider-Man actually unmasks and says, "My name is Peter Parker, and I've been Spider-Man since I was 15 years old." J. Jonah Jameson passes out in his office, and Peter asks the people if there's any questions, and we cut to the end of the issue. So issue number 2 is a really good second installment in this 7-part series. I mean, obviously the biggest thing that happens in this is that, Spider-Man chooses Tony Stark's side and he actually unmasks himself, which is a huge deal because he's, kept his identity since Spider-Man originated. So that was a really big deal. And that's why you actually see this comic sometimes be a little bit more when people sell these comics, because it's got one of those important milestones in it. But once again, this has been Jason with Violator Comics Collectibles. Any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and I'll see you guys next time.